The grand chamber of the Interstellar Council pulsed with an ancient energy, its curved walls crafted from crystalline materials that shifted and shimmered with each movement of the alien delegates. Holographic displays flickered around the circular platform, projecting a comprehensive record of humanity's technological achievements, or rather what the assembled alien civilizations considered to be laughably primitive attempts at space exploration. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of this cosmic arena, a solitary human representative surrounded by beings from 12 different star systems. Her dark hair was pulled back in a precise bun, her midnight blue diplomatic uniform crisp and immaculate. To the alien delegates, she appeared deceptively calm, a single point of stillness in a room vibrating with contemptuous energy. The Zornak representative, a massive creature resembling an intricate blend of octopus and crystalline machine, unfurled its translucent tentacles. Holographic data streams danced around its form, highlighting humanity's most embarrassing technological moments. Chemical rockets that seemed like children's toys, primitive space stations cobbled together with what appeared to be the galactic equivalent of duct tape and hope. Exploration vehicles that moved at speeds that would make a geological process seem rapid by comparison. Humanity continues to demonstrate why they are not prepared for galactic citizenship, the Zornak delegate proclaimed, its voice a combination of electronic modulation and liquid resonance. Your species remains confined to a single solar system, dependent on chemical propulsion and solar radiation shielding that our civilizations abandoned millennia ago. Scattered around the chamber, representatives from other advanced civilizations nodded in agreement. The silicon-based Krelax delegates, whose bodies resembled intricate geometric crystals, projected holographic charts showing humanity's technological inferiority. The energy-based luminary, who existed as complex electromagnetic patterns, pulsed with what could only be described as diplomatic condescension. Elena Rodriguez remained absolutely still, a single data chip glinting between her fingers. Years of diplomatic training had prepared her for this moment, to absorb criticism without revealing any hint of the revolution waiting just beyond their perception. The Quantum Collective, a hive-mind civilization represented by a shimmering cloud of interconnected neural networks, began its assessment. Humanity demonstrates minimal understanding of quantum entanglement, negligible progress in multidimensional engineering, and a laughable approach to energy generation. Your solar panels and nuclear fission technologies are equivalent to our civilization's early experimental phases. Each critique landed like a carefully aimed dart, intended to puncture any remaining human pride. The holographic displays continued their merciless parade of humanity's technological limitations. Grainy images of early space missions, complicated rocket launches that consumed massive amounts of resources, satellites that seemed more like primitive toys than serious technological achievements. What the alien delegates did not see was the decades of collaborative human innovation happening beneath the surface. They could not perceive the global effort that had transformed human potential. They did not understand that every critique, every moment of ridicule, had only fueled a more profound determination. Elena's fingers moved almost imperceptibly, activating a quantum-encrypted communication channel. Thousands of miles away, in facilities spread across multiple continents, teams of engineers, scientists, and designers waited with barely contained excitement. They had spent a decade working in absolute secrecy, creating something that would fundamentally challenge every assumption about human capability. The Interstellar Council continued its assessment, each delegate taking turns to highlight humanity's perceived inadequacies. The Zornak showed comparative charts of faster-than-light travel capabilities. The Krelax demonstrated their molecular reconstruction technologies. The Luminary presented their energy manipulation techniques that made human power generation look like a child's science experiment. Yet Elena Rodriguez stood unmoving, a slight smile playing at the corner of her mouth. The data chip in her hand represented more than just information. It was a key, a gateway to a future that no one in this chamber could yet imagine. As the final critiques echoed through the chamber, she knew that in mere moments, everything was about to change. The galaxy thought it knew humanity, But humanity was about to prove that they were something entirely unexpected. The cosmic stage was set. The performance was about to begin. Deep beneath the Atacama Desert, a world existed that no satellite could penetrate, no external sensor could detect. The underground facility stretched across multiple kilometers, a labyrinth of cutting-edge research spaces, advanced manufacturing zones, and collaborative engineering halls that defied conventional understanding of human technological capability. Dr. Marcus Chen stood at the central control hub, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces that seemed to breathe with living information. Around him, hundreds of workstations hummed with an energy that was part technological marvel, part human potential. Each station represented a different aspect of the most ambitious project in human history, a modular orbital city that would redefine space exploration and galactic perception. The facility itself was a testament to global collaboration. Funding had come from every major nation, every significant technological center. Silicon Valley engineers worked alongside researchers from Mumbai, Beijing, Berlin, and Sao Paulo. The project transcended national boundaries, political differences, and cultural divides. It was humanity's collective dream, compressed into a single impossible vision. Nano-adaptive materials formed the core of their revolutionary design. These weren't simple metal alloys or carbon composites, but living technological systems that could reshape, repair, and reconfigure themselves with mathematical precision. Each module contained millions of microscopic components that could communicate, adapt, and respond to environmental challenges in milliseconds. Structural integrity test in 3 minutes, announced Dr. Priya Verma, the lead materials engineer. Her holographic display showed complex molecular interactions, with billions of nanoscale components preparing to demonstrate capabilities that would make traditional engineering look like primitive stone tools. The current test focused on the city's ability to compact and expand. Traditional space construction required massive launch vehicles, enormous resources, and rigid design constraints. Their solution was elegantly complex, a city that could fold into itself like an intricate mechanical origami, compressed to the size of a standard shipping container, and then unfold with perfect mathematical precision. Dr. Chen reviewed the latest simulation data. The orbital city wasn't just a structure, it was a living system. Ecological zones could be created and maintained with perfect balance. Research facilities could reconfigure based on scientific needs. Living spaces would adapt to human psychological requirements, managing everything from radiation shielding to psychological comfort. A young engineer named David Rodriguez, no relation to Captain Elena Rodriguez, approached with a final set of quantum communication network specifications. "The neural interface is stable," he reported. "We can maintain real-time communication across multiple dimensional frequencies. No alien technology can match our quantum entanglement capabilities." The facility represented more than a technological achievement. It was a statement of human potential. Every critique from the Interstellar Council, every moment of galactic ridicule, had been transformed into fuel for innovation. The project had begun as a response to technological condescension and had evolved into something far more profound. Ecological systems formed a critical component of the design. Unlike alien technologies that often viewed environments as static systems to be controlled, the human orbital city would be a dynamic, living ecosystem. Agricultural zones could be created and maintained with unprecedented efficiency. Water recycling systems would approach 99.99% effectiveness. Waste would be transformed into resources with near-perfect conversion rates. "Compression test beginning," announced Dr. Verma. The massive prototype began to move, its billions of nano-components communicating in complex patterns. What had moments before been a sprawling research facility began to compact, fold, and transform. Entire research zones disappeared into themselves. Ecological chambers collapsed with precise mathematical movements. Living spaces compressed into impossibly small configurations. The process took 17 minutes, a duration that would be reduced to mere moments in the final design. When complete, A structure that had moments before occupied thousands of cubic meters now sat as a compact metallic cube barely 2 meters across. Dr. Chen allowed himself a rare smile. The alien civilizations believed they understood human potential. They were about to learn how wrong they had been. "Prepare for full system diagnostic," he commanded. The next phase of their revolution was about to begin. Silence descended across the Interstellar Council's primary observation deck. Thousands of sensors, calibrated to detect the most minute changes in spatial dynamics, struggled to comprehend what was happening before their perceptual arrays. The object appeared suddenly, a compact metallic cube that seemed unremarkable against the vast darkness of space. Alien scientists from 12 different star systems leaned forward, their various sensory appendages extending in collective confusion. Quantum scanners, capable of detecting subatomic movements, found nothing extraordinary about the seemingly mundane container. Then, something changed. The cube began to move, not with the predictable trajectory of a standard spacecraft, but with a fluid, almost organic motion that defied conventional understanding of mechanical movement. Its surface started to ripple, molecular structures shifting in patterns too complex for most alien computational systems to track. Senior quantum analyst Zexrak of the Luminary delegation zoomed his electromagnetic perception to the highest possible resolution. "Impossible," he transmitted across the Council's communication network. "The molecular reconfiguration exceeds all known technological parameters." Millisecond by millisecond, the cube began to transform. What had appeared solid became fluid, then dynamic. Entire sections separated, reconnected, and expanded with mathematical precision that bordered on biological complexity. It was less like a mechanical unfolding and more like a living organism awakening. Research modules emerged first, their crystalline structures catching the starlight and refracting it in impossible geometric patterns. Each module contained complete scientific laboratories that could reconfigure themselves based on research requirements. Quantum communication nodes extended like delicate neural networks, establishing complex information grids faster than any known alien technology could process. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood silently in the human delegation area, her posture calm, her eyes reflecting the unfolding marvel. Years of secret development were about to be revealed in a moment that would redefine humanity's place in the galactic community. Ecological zones blossomed next. What seemed like simple metallic surfaces transformed into complex environmental systems. Hydroponic gardens emerged, their plant structures genetically optimized for zero-gravity conditions. Water filtration systems created perfect closed loops, recycling every molecule with near-perfect efficiency. Atmospheric processors began generating breathable environments that could adapt to multiple planetary conditions. The Krelax representatives, whose silicon-based bodies prided themselves on technological superiority, found themselves utterly speechless. Their most advanced space habitats took months to construct and required massive external support systems. This human structure was creating entire living environments in minutes. Living spaces unfolded with equal complexity. Residential modules appeared, their internal structures capable of psychological adaptation. Walls could change opacity, adjust temperature, and modify acoustic properties based on inhabitants' neurological responses. Personal spaces could reconfigure themselves to optimize human comfort, a level of environmental interaction that most alien civilizations had never conceived. Defensive systems emerged last, a series of adaptive shield generators and quantum deflection technologies that made traditional space protection look like primitive stone walls. These were not simply protective barriers but intelligent systems that could predict, analyze, and neutralize potential threats before they could even be fully registered. The entire transformation took precisely 3 hours, 17 minutes, and 42 seconds. When complete, what had been a compact 2-meter cube had become a fully functional orbital city spanning several kilometers, with capabilities that exceeded the combined technological achievements of the entire Interstellar Council. "Impossible," repeated Zexrak, his quantum perception overwhelmed. This violates every known principle of space construction, material science, and technological integration. Captain Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy thought it knew humanity. Now, humanity was about to prove how little they truly understood. The orbital city hung in space, a living testament to human innovation. Every module, every system, every microscopic component told a story of collaborative genius, of a species that transformed criticism into motivation, of a civilization ready to redefine the boundaries of what was possible. The reveal was complete. The galaxy would never be the same. The initial shock of the orbital city's emergence gave way to a more profound scientific investigation. Quantum scanners, spectral analyzers, and multi-dimensional perception arrays probed every millimeter of the human structure, each scan revealing layers of complexity that defied comprehension. Dr. Lydia Nakamura, the lead human technical liaison, began her presentation with a calm precision that further unsettled the alien delegates. Her holographic display came to life, showing the intricate internal systems of the orbital city in stunning detail. "What you're witnessing," she explained, "is not simply a space station. It's a living technological ecosystem." The adaptive shields were the first system to truly capture the aliens' attention. Unlike traditional defensive technologies that relied on static energy barriers, these shields were dynamic, intelligent systems that could predict, analyze, and neutralize potential threats before they fully materialized. Quantum computational nodes integrated with molecular-level adaptive materials, creating a defensive network that was more akin to a living organism than a mechanical system. The Zornak lead scientist, a creature of intricate crystalline structures and electromagnetic perception, projected a series of comparative analyses. Traditional alien shield technologies required massive energy expenditures and had significant response delays. The human system could reconfigure its defensive capabilities in microseconds, analyzing potential threats across multiple dimensional frequencies simultaneously. Ecological zones within the city demonstrated an equally revolutionary approach. Where alien space habitats typically maintained carefully controlled environments, the human design created dynamic, self-sustaining ecosystems. Hydroponic gardens could rapidly adapt to changing nutritional requirements. Atmospheric processors didn't just filter air, they actively optimized it based on the psychological and physiological needs of inhabitants. Our approach, Dr. Nakamura continued, is fundamentally different from traditional space habitat design. We don't see environments as static systems to be controlled. We create living, responsive ecosystems. The quantum communication network represented another technological leap that left alien scientists speechless. Most advanced civilizations relied on fixed communication protocols that required massive relay stations. The human network was a living, adaptive system that could create communication pathways in real time, adjusting to environmental conditions and data requirements with unprecedented efficiency. Dr. Marcus Chen, who had been part of the original design team, demonstrated the network's capabilities. A holographic display showed communication nodes forming, dissolving, and reforming in complex patterns that resembled neural networks more than traditional communication infrastructure. Information flowed with a fluidity that seemed almost organic, transcending the typical limitations of technological communication. The Krelax delegation, whose silicon-based civilization prided itself on technological sophistication, found themselves increasingly uncomfortable. Their most advanced communication systems looked primitive in comparison. The human network could adapt, self-repair, and optimize its own performance in ways that seemed to challenge the very definition of technological design. Materials science represented perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of the orbital city. Nano-adaptive materials could reshape, repair, and reconfigure themselves with a level of precision that bordered on biological complexity. A simple demonstration showed a damaged section of the city's exterior rapidly healing itself, molecular structures realigning and reconstructing with mathematical perfection. "We don't just build structures," Dr. Nakamura explained. "We create living systems that can think, adapt, and evolve. The energy generation and distribution systems further challenged alien technological assumptions. Most advanced civilizations relied on massive centralized power generation. The human orbital city created a distributed energy network that could draw power from multiple sources, store it with unprecedented efficiency, and redistribute it with near-instantaneous responsiveness. Each alien delegation began to realize something profound. Humanity had not simply created a space habitat. They had reimagined the very concept of technological design. As the presentation concluded, a collective sense of uncertainty spread through the Interstellar Council. The galaxy had believed it understood human technological capabilities. In a single moment, those assumptions had been completely shattered. Dr. Nakamura's final statement hung in the air, a quiet declaration of a new technological paradigm. This is not just a city. This is a living proof of human potential. The asteroid cluster appeared without warning, a massive constellation of rocky fragments hurtling toward the heart of the Interstellar Council's primary space station. Sensors blazed with emergency warnings, and alien defense systems began powering up, primitive, mechanical responses to an approaching catastrophe. No one expected the human orbital city to move. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched from the observation deck, her posture calm, her eyes reflecting the unfolding drama. The city's defensive systems had been their most closely guarded secret, a technological marvel that went far beyond traditional space protection. The first alien sensors detected movement. Not a defensive positioning, not a simple avoidance maneuver, but something entirely unexpected. Quantum projection fields emerged from the human orbital city, delicate yet impossibly strong energy tendrils that seemed to weave through space itself. Senior quantum analyst Zexarak of the Luminary delegation zoomed his electromagnetic perception to maximum resolution. Impossible, he transmitted across the Council's communication network. The human city wasn't just preparing to defend itself. It was analyzing the entire asteroid cluster with a complexity that defied comprehension. Each asteroid became a data point in a living, dynamic computational matrix. The city's defensive systems didn't simply calculate trajectories. They predicted molecular stress points, understood the intricate gravitational interactions between each rocky fragment, and began to craft a response that was more akin to a living organism than a mechanical defense system. Adaptive shield generators extended, not as solid barriers, but as dynamic energy fields that could reshape themselves in milliseconds. Where traditional alien technologies would attempt to destroy or deflect the asteroids, the human system began to do something entirely different. The energy tendrils began to interact with the asteroid cluster at a molecular level. Instead of destruction, the city was redistributing kinetic energy, gently nudging the massive rocky fragments into new trajectories. It was less like a defensive weapon and more like a complex ecological intervention. Fragments that moments before had been on a collision course began to move with mathematical precision. The city's quantum computational systems were performing calculations so complex that most alien technologies would have required centuries of processing time. "They're not destroying the asteroids," whispered Dr. Marcus Chen, watching from the human delegation area. "They're solving them." The Krelax representatives, whose silicon-based civilization prided itself on advanced planetary defense systems, found themselves utterly speechless. Their most sophisticated defensive technologies looked like primitive stone tools in comparison. Within 17 minutes and 42 seconds, the entire asteroid cluster had been redirected. Not destroyed, not simply deflected. Redistributed with such precision that each fragment was now following a trajectory that would cause no potential harm to any known space infrastructure. The quantum communication networks of the alien civilizations erupted in a collective moment of stunned silence. This was not just a defensive maneuver. It was a demonstration of a fundamentally different approach to problem-solving. Dr. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy thought it knew humanity's capabilities. They were about to learn how wrong they had been. The Zornak lead scientist began a comprehensive analysis, his intricate sensory appendages extending to capture every microscopic detail of the intervention. The human orbital city had not just protected the space station. It had performed a complex ecological redistribution that most civilizations would have considered impossible. Quantum scanners continued to track the redirected asteroid fragments. Each movement, each molecular interaction told a story of technological capability that went far beyond traditional understanding of defensive systems. "This is not protection," transmitted Zexarak to the collective alien consciousness. "This is problem-solving at a level we have never encountered." The orbital city returned to its standard configuration, the quantum projection fields collapsing with the same fluid grace they had emerged with. No fanfare, no dramatic display of power, simply a precise, elegant solution to a potentially catastrophic threat. As the alien delegates processed what they had witnessed, one fundamental truth became clear. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were nothing like anyone had expected. The unexpected protector hung in space, a living testament to human innovation. Every molecular interaction, every computational decision told a story of a civilization that saw challenges not as obstacles to be overcome, but as complex problems waiting to be solved. The diplomatic chambers of the Interstellar Council transformed overnight. What had once been a space of rigid hierarchical interactions now buzzed with an unprecedented energy of curiosity and genuine scientific exchange. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the center of a most unusual gathering. Representatives from 12 different star systems surrounded her, their various sensory appendages and communication interfaces focused with an intensity that bordered on reverence. Gone were the condescending holographic displays and dismissive critiques. In their place was a genuine hunger to understand. "Explain the philosophical foundation of your technological approach," requested the luminary representative, its electromagnetic patterns pulsing with genuine intellectual excitement. The question was more than a diplomatic formality. It was a profound request to comprehend the fundamental differences in technological thinking. Dr. Rodriguez began her explanation with a holographic demonstration that mapped human innovation across multiple disciplines. "Our approach," she explained, "is rooted in collaborative problem-solving and adaptive thinking. We don't see technology as a static achievement, but as a living, evolving system." The Krelax delegation leaned forward, their silicon-based bodies reconfiguring to optimize information reception. Traditional alien technological development followed strict linear progressions. Innovations were carefully controlled, incrementally improved, and rigorously categorized. The human approach seemed almost chaotic by comparison, a dynamic, interconnected approach that defied conventional understanding. Dr. Marcus Chen joined the presentation, demonstrating how human ecological design differed from alien technological approaches. Where most advanced civilizations saw environments as systems to be controlled, humans created adaptive, responsive ecosystems. The orbital city's environmental modules could reshape themselves based on complex psychological and physiological needs. "We don't just build technologies," Dr. Chen explained. "We create living systems that can think, adapt, and evolve." The Zornak lead scientist projected a comparative analysis that highlighted the fundamental differences. Alien technologies typically focused on efficiency and control. The human approach emphasized adaptability, collaborative problem-solving, and a holistic understanding of technological integration. Diplomatic missions became intricate technical exchanges. Each alien delegation brought their most advanced technological concepts, eager to understand the human approach. Research teams from multiple civilizations began collaborative projects, something that had been unthinkable mere weeks before. The orbital city itself became a diplomatic hub, its adaptive spaces reconfiguring to accommodate the unique physiological and communication requirements of different alien species. Meeting rooms could adjust atmospheric compositions, gravitational fields, and sensory environments in real time, creating perfect communication spaces for beings with radically different biological needs. Dr. Rodriguez explained the core philosophy behind their approach. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't technological superiority, but the ability to imagine, collaborate, and transform challenges into opportunities. Each technological breakthrough was seen as a collective achievement, not an individual accomplishment. The luminary representative processed this concept with its complex quantum perception. Traditional alien civilizations viewed technological development as a competitive process. The human approach was fundamentally different. A collaborative, adaptive system that saw innovation as a collective journey. Quantum communication networks facilitated unprecedented levels of scientific exchange. Research teams from different star systems began sharing data in ways that transcended traditional technological barriers. The human approach to information sharing was itself a revolutionary concept. "We don't hoard knowledge," Dr. Chen explained. "We believe that true innovation happens through open collaboration." The diplomatic exchanges revealed something profound. The orbital city was more than a technological marvel. It was a living demonstration of a different approach to understanding challenges, solving problems, and imagining possibilities. Each alien delegation began to realize that humanity represented something entirely unexpected. Not a civilization to be dismissed or controlled, but a dynamic, innovative species with a fundamentally different approach to technological and social development. As the diplomatic sessions continued, one thing became increasingly clear. The galaxy had dramatically underestimated humanity. What had begun as a moment of technological revelation was transforming into a fundamental reimagining of technological and cultural exchange. The orbital city hung in space, the living testament to human potential. Every module, every interaction told a story of collaboration, innovation, and the boundless possibilities of collective imagination. The energy phenomenon materialized without warning, a complex interdimensional disturbance that defied every known principle of quantum mechanics. 12 different star systems watched in collective terror as the anomaly began to destabilize the fabric of space-time itself. Traditional alien defense systems activated in cascading waves of feudal energy. Quantum shields flickered. Dimensional stabilization technologies collapsed. The phenomenon consumed computational efforts like a ravenous predator, reducing the most advanced alien technologies to meaningless data fragments. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the primary command center of the human orbital city, her team assembled with a calm that stood in stark contrast to the panic spreading across alien communication networks. Where other civilizations saw an unsolvable catastrophe, humans saw a complex problem waiting to be understood. "Quantum mapping," she called out. "Full spectrum analysis. We need to understand its fundamental structure." The orbital city's systems began to move in ways that defied conventional technological understanding. Adaptive modules reconfigured themselves, creating a living computational matrix that could process information across multiple dimensional frequencies simultaneously. It was less like a technological response and more like a complex biological immune system analyzing an unknown pathogen. Dr. Marcus Chen worked on the quantum computational interface, his fingers moving across holographic displays that shifted and transformed with each microsecond of analysis. The energy phenomenon was not just a spatial anomaly. It was a complex interdimensional event that existed simultaneously across multiple potential realities. "It's not destroying space," Dr. Chen reported. "It's reorganizing it." The luminary quantum analyst Zexarak transmitted his observations across the Galactic communication network. The human approach was fundamentally different from any known technological response. Where alien civilizations attempted to combat the phenomenon with brute force energy output, the human team was attempting to understand its underlying mathematical structure. Adaptive shield generators extended from the orbital city, not as defensive barriers but as complex computational probes. Each molecular structure could reshape itself, creating a living network of sensors that could gather information across impossible dimensional boundaries. The phenomenon began to react to the human approach. Its chaotic energy patterns started to stabilize, as if the very act of intelligent observation was fundamentally changing its behavior. This was quantum mechanics taken to an unprecedented level, a technological approach that saw observation not as a passive act, but as an active form of interaction. Ecological systems within the orbital city began to play an unexpected role. The adaptive environmental module started generating complex quantum resonance fields that seemed to communicate with the dimensional anomaly on a level beyond traditional technological understanding. "We're not fighting it," Dr. Rodriguez explained to the stunned alien delegations. "We're communicating with it." Quantum communication networks from 12 different star systems watched in stunned silence. The human orbital city was not just analyzing the phenomenon. It was engaging with it, creating a dialogue across dimensional boundaries that challenged every known principle of scientific interaction. Hours passed. The phenomenon began to change. Its chaotic energy patterns started to resolve into more complex, structured interactions. What had appeared to be a destructive anomaly was revealing itself to be something far more nuanced, a complex dimensional communication that previous technologies had been unable to comprehend. Dr. Chen's computational analysis revealed the breakthrough. The phenomenon was not a threat. It was a message, a communication attempt from a form of existence so complex that traditional technological approaches had been unable to recognize it as communication. The orbital city's systems continued their adaptive response. Quantum computational nodes created complex resonance patterns, establishing a form of communication that went beyond traditional technological boundaries. It was less like decoding a message and more like creating a collaborative language across dimensional barriers. "We're not just solving a problem," Dr. Rodriguez transmitted to the alien delegations. "We're having a conversation." As the final computational cycles completed, the dimensional phenomenon began to stabilize, not through destruction or suppression, but through a process of mutual understanding that defied every known principle of technological interaction. The Interstellar Council watched in collective amazement. Humanity had not just protected multiple star systems from a potential dimensional threat. They had transformed an incomprehensible phenomenon into a moment of unprecedented scientific dialogue. The orbital city hung in space, its adaptive systems slowly returning to standard configuration. Every molecular interaction told a story of a civilization that saw challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for understanding. Humanity had rewritten the rules of scientific interaction, and they were just getting started. The Interstellar Council chamber felt different. Where once dismissive holographic displays and condescending alien delegates had dominated, now a sense of profound respect permeated the space. Humanity had not just earned a place among the galactic civilizations, they had fundamentally reshaped the understanding of technological potential. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of this transformed reality, her posture calm, her presence a quiet testament to the journey that had brought humanity to this moment. Around her, representatives from 12 different star systems prepared to make a decision that would rewrite galactic history. The luminary quantum analyst Zexarak initiated the formal proceedings. Quantum communication networks activated, creating a multi-dimensional space of interaction that transcended traditional diplomatic communication. The Interstellar Council has completed its comprehensive review of humanity's technological capabilities, the analyst transmitted. What followed was not a simple acceptance. It was a complete reevaluation of everything the galactic community believed about technological development, innovation, and potential. The orbital city had become more than a technological marvel. It was a living demonstration of a fundamentally different approach to understanding challenges, solving problems, and imagining possibilities. Each alien delegation had witnessed humanity's unique capabilities across multiple critical scenarios, from the initial technological reveal to the complex dimensional communication. Dr. Marcus Chen presented a comprehensive overview of the collaborative technologies that had made their achievements possible. It wasn't about individual brilliance, but about a collective approach to innovation that saw challenges as opportunities for collective growth. The Krelax delegation, whose silicon-based civilization had once dismissed humanity as primitive, now sought to understand the philosophical foundations of human technological development. Their representative projected a series of comparative analyses that highlighted the fundamental differences in approach. Your technologies are not just tools, The Krelak's representative observed. They are living systems that evolve, adapt, and communicate. Diplomatic missions had transformed into comprehensive scientific exchanges. Research teams from multiple star systems were now collaborating in ways that had been unimaginable mere months before. The human approach to information sharing, open, collaborative, seeing knowledge as a collective resource, was itself a revolutionary concept. The orbital city continued to serve as a diplomatic hub, its adaptive spaces reconfiguring to accommodate the unique requirements of different alien species. Meeting rooms could adjust atmospheric compositions, gravitational fields, and sensory environments in real time, creating perfect communication spaces for beings with radically different biological needs. Dr. Rodriguez reflected on the journey. Humanity's greatest strength was not technological superiority, but the ability to imagine, collaborate, and transform challenges into opportunities. Each breakthrough was seen as a collective achievement, a testament to human potential. The dimensional phenomenon they had successfully communicated with had opened up entirely new avenues of scientific exploration. What had appeared to be an impossible challenge had become a moment of unprecedented scientific dialogue. The galaxy was beginning to understand that humanity brought something entirely unique to the cosmic stage. Zexrak's quantum communication transmission captured the collective sentiment. Humanity represents a form of innovation that transcends traditional technological understanding. They do not simply solve problems, they reimagine the very nature of problem-solving. The formal acceptance was more than a diplomatic formality. It was a recognition that humanity had introduced a fundamentally different approach to technological and cultural development. No longer would they be seen as a young, primitive civilization. They were now recognized as a dynamic, innovative species with the potential to transform galactic understanding. As the final diplomatic protocols were completed, Dr. Rodriguez allowed herself a moment of reflection. The journey had never been about proving superiority. It had been about demonstrating the power of collaborative imagination, of seeing challenges as opportunities for collective growth. The orbital city hung in space, a living testament to human potential. Every module, every technological innovation, told a story of collaboration, creativity, and the boundless possibilities of collective human imagination. The Interstellar Council had not just accepted humanity. They had been transformed by humanity's approach to understanding the universe. As quantum communication networks finalized the historic decision, one thing became abundantly clear. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had arrived, and they were nothing like anyone had expected. A new chapter in galactic history had begun.